House. This is the last Face the State for 2008. And as we approach 2009, many folks have visions of 2010 dancing in their heads, as in the election of 10 and the race for governor. Once again, our technical producer, Adam Brooks, if you could punch up the Brady Bunch of gubernatorial wannabes. They are, from left to right in the top, Attorney General Richard Blumenthal. In the middle of the top there, Stamford Mayor Dan Malloy. To his right, Secretary of the State Susan Bysiewicz. Second row, we have State Comptroller Nancy Wyman. In the middle, of course, Republican Governor Rell. On the right, to her right, that is, outgoing House Speaker Jim Amon. And down beneath that, we have New Haven Mayor John DeStefano. And our guest today, another Democrat who has flirted with a run for governor, the President Pro Tem of the Senate, Don Williams of Brooklyn. Senator Williams, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Dennis.
We had you on a couple times earlier this year,
Sure.
and each time you said that you would make a decision about running for governor after the November election. Now it's December. What do you think you're going to do?
Well, you know, I've had people talk to me about this. I go to the grocery store, especially up in northeastern Connecticut, and people say, you know, you're going to run for governor. And I am seriously considering it. But I have to say that what's on the minds of everybody that I talk to is the crisis that we're facing in this country and this state. They want us to do everything that we can to tackle this. And my job as president of the state Senate right now is to concentrate my energies on getting us out of this mess and positioning us as best I can so that Connecticut can grow as the economy recovers nationwide and in this state in the future.
So the unofficial Big Y shopping poll group, focus group, is sort of encouraging you to run for governor. What's your time frame for doing this?
Well, I want to wait as we get through this session because, Dennis, this is going to be the most difficult session anyone has seen in Connecticut, at least since 1991, and probably tougher than that. So this is going to put us all to a test, those who are serving. And I look at this as a real challenge. If I can play a key role in getting this state back on track in the most difficult times that we have faced in decades, then I think we'll take a look at 2010 and beyond, and ideally have positioned this state to do very, very well in the future.
Do you think it is better to wait a while before anyone runs for governor in terms of the Democrats? Maybe they should sit back and say, listen, how do we handle this economic morass? Or is it bad politics to jump in now?
You know, across the country, I think people are wanting to get away from the kind of bitter partisanship that we saw in Washington, D.C., and it's crept into Connecticut politics as well. They want a different approach. And what I stand for is a new approach to bringing people together, solving our problems, and most importantly, getting results. We haven't gotten to a place where we can bring people together by posturing. We have to take action in order to tackle the problems that face us. And, you know, we're going to get some help from Washington, and I'm looking forward to working with the Obama administration. That's going to be a key difference in our favor in Connecticut in the next couple of years. But we have a lot of work to do at the state level as well.
There are many Democrats who say they will not run if Richard Blumenthal decides he is going to run, and he says he may make a decision in the next couple of weeks, early January. If he is in, are you necessarily out?
You know, I have a lot of respect for Attorney General Blumenthal, and if he's in, then I want to sit down with him and have a conversation. My inclination would be to support him because I think he would be an outstanding candidate, and I think he would win if he ran for governor. But I know that he's got a lot of things that he has to weigh, and so I want to do all I can to be ready to lead this state as President Pro Tem in the next session and help get us out of this crisis, and then, if opportunity permits, to work for the state to the best of my ability in the future.
What's your gut? Does he run for governor, you think?
You know, I'll tell you, it's a tough decision for him. We know that governor, I think, is attractive for him. U.S. Senate is obviously attractive for him as well. I think he's going to weigh that calculus and make his decision in the very near future.
You know, as you know, it's been 22 years since the Democrats last won the governorship. How do they go about doing it this time? What do they need to do differently?
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because I got my start in politics in a small town as first selectman, and those are roots and experiences that I cherish because it helps me as a leader today to understand the workings of our small towns, democracy at the New England town meeting level, And right after I got elected as first selectman in 1987, the person who came to my victory dinner was Governor Bill O'Neill. And the Democrats had the governorship at that time. It has been a long time. I mean, Connecticut is a very Democratic state in every other way. And I think what we need to do to take the next leap forward for the state's progress is to bring the governor's office back to the Democrats so we can get this state moving again.
We're going to talk about her poll numbers later in the broadcast with another guest, but Governor Rell remains popular in this state. What is it going to take for Democrats to beat her? Does she need to, make a mistake? What if she just continues doing what she's doing? She could, win re-election.
I think Governor Rell was the right person for Connecticut right after John Rowland resigned. She stepped in, was able to restore confidence. A lot of folks wondered about the whole process and politics at that time, and I think she was able, with her calm demeanor, to come in and restore the confidence that was needed. And she will have served for 6 years in 2010. I think at that point, the state will be ready for a change. People know that we must move in a different direction, certainly in terms of the economy, but also in terms of health care, higher education, our transportation infrastructure, making government work more effectively, more efficiently. People will be ready for change.
Some of your fellow Democrats in this program have said that the governor does not have, has not shown good leadership skills. Do you think she's been a good leader?
In her way, she exhibited the leadership that was necessary to restore that confidence that I talked about after we had gone through a very difficult time with the scandals in the Rowland administration. But we need a different kind of leadership going forward. We have to have the vision that it takes to keep Connecticut competitive in an economy that is not only across this country. We're not competing against just 49 other states. This requires that we reach down and do a whole lot more to keep Connecticut competitive in the future. And I am very bullish on Connecticut. I know it's not the right term to use in terms of Wall Street these days and what they have done in large part to our economy, but we have tremendous potential in Connecticut. We're smack dab in the middle of one of the greatest concentrations of population. We have tremendous infrastructure in terms of education and higher education. We have a skilled workforce. We have cutting-edge industries and sectors like biotech and the fuel cell industry for alternative energy. We need to grow those sectors in the future, but it's going to take a vision and it's going to take a lot of effort to put us on a path to grow our economy and keep our young people here in the future.
What's your prediction? Do you think she runs for re-election?
I think she probably does.
You think she does?
I think she does, and I think that Connecticut will be ready to move on and to get on this path that we need to in order to have a better future.
You have the so-called supermajority. You can sort of do what you want next year and get it passed with or without the governor. Do you think she's a detriment to improving the economy?
Well, we're going to work with the governor because I think in this crisis atmosphere, you don't talk about supermajorities and sort of a my way or the highway approach. You reach across party lines. I've had a good working relationship with the governor, and we're all in this together this next session. And I think she knows that. My colleagues across the aisle, the Republican legislators, know that we need each other, and we need to come together for the benefit of the people of Connecticut in what will be a very difficult session.
How do you explain the governor's popularity?
She's a likable person. And like I said, I get along fine with her. And because of her manner, she was able to restore the confidence that we needed at that time. But now we have gone through some bad times economically. We see some significant challenges that require new vision. We need to be not just concerned about the here and now, but to be looking ahead and saying, when it comes to alternative energy, when it comes to positioning Connecticut in terms of being a leader in technology and biotech and transportation, we have to start taking the steps now if we're going to keep the generations of the well-qualified workers in the future and grow the industries that we have here. And that's going to take a different kind of leadership.
Can you blame the governor for any of the economic problems in the state right now?
It's hard to blame folks in Connecticut for what is a global recession that is hurting the world is really undermining our economy in this country and is affecting all 50 states. I don't single out the governor. You know, I take a look at the subprime mortgages, these so-called credit default swaps, all of these intricate and complicated and unfortunate economic products that have taken us to the brink of the cliff, if not over the cliff.
If you had to, put a number on it, what are the chances you'll run for governor, you think?
Well, I don't like to play the odds. I would just simply say that I am very seriously looking at this. I've been fortunate to have a lot of great experience at the small town level as a first selectman. As president of the Senate, the landscape is much wider and deeper, looking at our cities, looking at all issues, and trying to figure out how can we be a better state, how can we have the vision to move forward, fight off the special interests where necessary, and take this state where it needs to be for our citizens and our future.
Senate President Don Williams, Democrat of Brooklyn, thank you so much for being with us today. And of course, if you want to make that announcement in the spring or earlier than that, this is the place to do it.
Thank you, Dennis.